Good morning and welcome to, let's make sure we're started. I think we are. Good morning and welcome to the next installment, the beginning of chapter 4 of the Chicken Qabalah of Rabbi Lamed ben Clifford. Chapter 4 is on the Hebrew alphabet, and we will probably break this up into a couple episodes. I'm going to start by reading the only footnote for the chapter. Some of you may already have a good working knowledge of the Hebrew alphabet and will be tempted to skip over the next section. Please resist such temptation and read it through at least once. You may learn a thing or two you didn't already know. At the very least, it may help you with your Hebrew penmanship. So that's the only footnote. I introduce the Rabbi's fourth chapter here, the Hebrew alphabet, introduced by Lon Milo DuQuette. And there's an epigram. That's a quote from Rabbi Lamed ben Clifford. And I'll hold that up just to let you see what I'm talking about. Tav looks like a resh holding a dead dolphin by the tail. Tav looks like a resh holding a dead dolphin by the tail. There's no escaping it. Even the laziest chicken Kabbalist needs to learn the Hebrew alphabet and at least some of its traditional correspondences. As Rabbi Ben Clifford said in Frequently Asked Questions, this doesn't mean that you'll have to learn to speak or read the Hebrew language. In fact, once you've learned the Hebrew alphabet and its Kabbalistic and numerical secrets, you will most likely spend a lot of time examining English words and letters using their Hebrew equivalents. Another thing that's absolutely necessary for your study is a small basic library of reference works. You don't have to have these books right now, but you will want them very soon. Of course, you'll collect more books as you descend into Kabbalistic madness. But those texts, and this book, of course, will be enough to get you on the road. And here's a few books. Aleister Crowley's 777 and Other Kabbalistic Writings. York Beach, Maine, Samuel Weiser, 1990, but they're in subsequent editions. And I like this. David Godwin's Kabbalistic Encyclopedia, St. Paul, Llewellyn. And just, you can get this anywhere at Beale Dalton's or any place. Ehud Ben Yehuda's Pocket English Hebrew English Dictionary. You can have a lot of fun with that. We must remember that Ben Clifford wrote this little 25-page essay simply to help beginning students remember how to recognize and correctly draw each Hebrew letter. I believe he succeeded admirably in doing this. Several of his descriptions evoke bizarre and unforgettable images, like Tav looks like a resh holding a dead dolphin by the tail, or Lamed, Lamed looks like a snake that has swallowed a brick and is now having second thoughts. As a purely Kabbalistic work, however, this essay is far from comprehensive. His comments on letters are limited primarily to basic definitions of the letters. Occasionally, he muses briefly about how the primitive meanings may be applied to cosmic, psychological, or sexual principles, but for the most part, he seems satisfied to offer us simply an appetizer for further food for thought. The stunning exception is found in his comments on the letter Yod. Let's see here. I strongly urge the reader to carefully read and reread that section. In 210 words, Ben Clifford casually reveals the supreme symbolic secret of creation by drawing our attention to that most mysterious of natural numbers known to mathematicians as the Greek letter phi, and to architects as the golden mean, or the golden section. This ratio, or this number or ratio, 1.6180339887499, like the irrational number pi, seems to issue from and set the pattern for the basic structure of the entire cosmos. But unlike other abstract numbers, the pattern set by phi is revealed naturally and universally in all living things and all things that grow and develop in stages. One of the most striking examples of this pattern of growth can be found in the shell of the nautilus, which, when cross-sectioned, reveals a breathtaking, repeating pattern of what looks like extended Hebrew letter yods. Or the English letter G. On a grander scale, it can be found in the formation of the Great Spiral Nebulae. This primal pattern of patterns is indeed the G signature of the great architect of the universe, the name by which Freemasons refer to deity. As far as I know, Ben Clifford is the first Kabbalist or alleged Kabbalist to make this profound and fundamental connection. I suppose inevitably there will be those who view as crude and offensive Ben Clifford's sexual allusions to the Hebrew letters and other elements of Kabbalistic study. Admittedly, at first glance, it does appear that he places an inordinate emphasis on phalluses and vaginas, wombs and sperm and such. As he's no longer here to defend himself, I feel I must say a few words on the rabbi's behalf. For the last 2,000 years, there's been a concerted effort by those who would guide the spiritual life of Western civilization to divorce human life from nature on one end of the scale and from God on the other. We are taught that we're superior to other living things because we were created in the image of the deity and can do what we damn well please with the environment and the creatures around us. At the same time, we're told that the deity is outside of us, that we stand eternally separated from it because of an ambiguous act of disobedience committed by our mythological ancestors, and that we are cursed by the simple act of being born. Ben Clifford's 2nd, 8th, and 9th commandments cleanly expose this spiritual schizophrenia as a cruel and unwholesome fraud. Remember, everything in heaven and earth is connected to everything in heaven and earth. Everything in heaven and earth is a reflection of everything in heaven and earth. And everything in heaven and earth contains the pattern of everything in heaven and earth. Nothing can be separated from anything else, including all aspects of the human condition. To discuss sexual matters within a religious context is as proper as discussing matters of scripture or mathematics or physics. Since a great deal of our time is already spent thinking about sex, it's only logical that a significant part of our meditations on any subject should be dominated by the universal truths inherent in sexual imagery. Ben Clifford was fond of misquoting Freud, and he often told his students, quote, "Sometimes a cigar is just a cigar, and sometimes it's the supreme creative force in the universe." I applaud Ben Clifford's healthy attitude and casual candor. Furthermore, I can say with some small measure of authority that much of what he has to say in this area reveals the most profound level of understanding. I advise the serious student to ponder his words carefully. And to those who are still offended or embarrassed by the rabbi's comments, I say, thank you for buying this book. Now grow up. And that's where we'll pick it up tomorrow with the rabbi's own material in Meet the Hebrew Alphabet. Until then, everyone, stay in, stay safe, be good to yourself, and be good to each other. Do what thou wilt shall be the whole of the law. Love is the law, love under will. How was that?